Hello and happy Friday the 13th, everyone.
Friday the 13th. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing okay, as one does. Took a flight on a Friday the 13th.
Yes, my family will be doing that shortly as well. Getting ready we have winter break here in Atlanta coming up, so I think a lot of folks are heading off places, right?
This is true. It pays to wake up at 5 in the morning to get your children out of the house early, just to arrive early, so that you can have your children scream at you in a completely different location.
Yeah, but there's more pools where you are, right?
Correct. The weather is a little bit nicer in Florida than it is probably in most of the states.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we forget to introduce ourselves, but we'll do it this time. I'm Justin Dilly, and I'm joined from Florida, Eric Sharp.
Eric Sharp. Thanks for joining us
Um,
on the Multifamily Weekend Update Show, episode
yes.
74.
Episode 74, digging into the middle of the second month of the year and a day before Valentine's Day. So happy early Valentine's Day, Eric.
Why, thank you, Justin. And I would argue we're going from one of the most unlucky days to the luckiest days of the year.
I suppose so. Although last year, if you remember, it wasn't a very lucky week. There was a lot of folks that were dealing with a major layoff, which always happens. But we did do a show centered around industry Valentines that people kind of collected. We curated words of wisdom and kind of motivational things. We'll post that over the weekend. But there's
Yeah.
more Valentine's Day content out there. Parcel Pending has something.
Oh, yeah. They've got a blog on boosting resident engagement, huh?
Yeah. That's ideas. There's 19 ideas for resident events centered around Valentine's Day, but it's more than just ideas. It's also sort of a do's and don'ts list for how to boost resident engagement in a
I want to
framework.
scan this. I want to scan this right now and
Okay,
scan that
yeah,
QR
check
code.
it out. Yeah, it's kind of good. It may be a little late to do anything this year, but definitely something to put on your calendar for next. And a lot of good insight in terms of when you are celebrating different holidays, how to be inclusive, how to be what you're thinking about, what you don't do. It's not just for Valentine's Day, so it's good to check out.
And it's also considered like a friendship day, in other countries as well. Like this
Yeah.
is the time to, love on your friends, especially those that you may have put into the friend zone.
Yeah. Or a situationship holiday, which is
Yes.
a newer term. I guess I would have been in a lot more situationships in my youth had I known that existed, but it didn't. So
That's okay. I can, yeah, consider yourself lucky if you didn't have to subject yourself
call it
to
that. Oh, I think I was. I just don't think we called it that. So yeah.
yeah, yeah, this is true. This
All
is
right.
true.
So
Well,
there's some news, right? There's some other news besides
yeah, there's
Valentine's
some
Day.
pretty darn big news here. The House has overwhelmingly passed, the Road Act,
Hmm.
which is essentially complete reformation to housing, which affects a lot of us here in multifamily. Everything from market rate to affordability. It's really trying to address the supply issue as well. It's just this multi-part bill. We don't have to break it down all right now, but
Right.
we've given you some of the high level stuff here. But
Yeah.
one of the reasons why we are tracking it, of course, is because if it goes through the Senate, it has to go through committee first, and then go through the Senate and get a vote. It can and very well drastically affect all of our lives.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
I'm very
Housing
excited.
programs, right?
Yeah.
Financing programs, expanding affordable programs, how manufactured housing goes forward. I mean, it affects a ton of the industry.
Over 40 provisions on
Mhm.
almost every sector of housing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting thing. So we're just keeping a close eye on this, and we'll likely do a deeper dive, if you will, if and when it does pass.
Yeah. Well, what's also interesting, just to call out again or highlight is that it's overwhelmingly passed in a very bipartisan way. 390 to 9, which is
Extremely bipartisan.
like
I am
our,
afraid to look up who the 9
yeah,
people were.
our government really can't agree on much or get much done, but this is definitely a signal that this is how urgent, how people are committed to this, how important this is on all sides of the fence for all kinds of folks involved.
Yeah, which is great to
Mhm.
hear.
Very good. Very good. All right, moving on. Our friend Jay Parsons posted a little bit on LinkedIn, like he always does. But this particular post was the notion of maybe the industry, in hindsight, should not have said, survive till 2025. Maybe the industry should have said survive through 2025. And being on some of the earnings calls recently, he was kind of parsing some of that out. We've highlighted a few things here from the post. Basically, that there's momentum. There's, concessions are backing away. Markets are improving. Signals, a lot of different signals are aligning.
Yeah.
Kind of good.
Which is good. I mean, ultimately, the spring, we're coming up on spring here where things are going to start to heat up, and we'll see. But yeah, I mean, a lot of markets like Florida, for example, were just reeling with concessions, which is oftentimes the early warning signs of a potential downturn for market rate rent.
Yeah, and it's underlined a couple times in his post and probably in other materials that this isn't a year of booming. It's just a year of transition, of that pivot, that turning point. We're going to see that turn. It's going to feel like growth, but not in the way that we might expect a boom, which may be something we see in 2027.
Yeah, hopefully this, the ROAD Act, the American Dream to Housing Act, will help accelerate this tremendously.
Yeah, good stuff.
Speaking
What else?
of accelerating things, pretty big news. Not technically directly multifamily, but holy cow, AI just continues to raise the roof.
No, they do. Well, interestingly enough, right? So Claude, which is the AI agent under Anthropic, it has been in our industry feeds and kind of mindset of, say, people comparing it, people using it for asset management, comparing it to ChatGPT, different folks saying, which AI tool do you use and for what? So it's been kind of in our thought bubble, leadership bubbles in the last few weeks, and all of a sudden this kind of steps in, which is huge. But it also, I think there is a multifamily angle, which kind of this type of investment, it signals that AI will rapidly become like table stakes. And if you go look at some who those investors are, some of them may also invest in real estate. A lot of them do.
Yeah, good. That's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just so interesting seeing these companies that are still really not yet public, continuing to raise. I mean, to raise a Series G round of funding is just almost unheard of in the startup world. Most of the time, there's a merger or an acquisition that takes place from, an incumbent. Or the SPAC route is another direction to go. But obviously, when you're just on a massive rocket ship headed to Mars, you're just going to keep raising money and adding booster rockets to your arsenal. So, and they're going up against OpenAI. That's really one of their main competitors.
Yeah, and I haven't used it yet, although I've been I'm going to try it.
What are you doing, Justin?
I know.
What are you doing?
I'm going to try it, but I've seen enough people talk about it. But I feel like when you have somebody like Mike Wolber, and then you have somebody like Chelsea Handler advocate for this particular AI, those are two people that I wouldn't put together at all. They all have very different reasons for why they're choosing Claude. But it warrants for me. I'm like, I need to investigate this.
I feel like we could play 2 degrees of Kevin Bacon and try to connect them together, Mike Wolber and.
I think we might need more than 2, maybe 6. Like let's
No.
at least keep it the Kevin Bacon standard. 6 degrees of
That's
Kevin
6 degrees.
Bacon.
Yeah.
It's 6 degrees
I
of
think we
Kevin.
could do it within 2. I think we could do it within 2.
Okay. Well, okay, that's a challenge to somebody.
That's
Let's see if we can.
I don't know if we can do it on air right now, but
No, we can't. We'll have to go. Maybe someone else can like give us that connection, but maybe we'll do it. That's what you can do poolside, Eric, is figure out how they're connected.
Yeah, I will definitely do that in between checking on the kids and ordering another nice cold beverage.
Drink. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's kind of our biggest news for the week. People are busy hunkering down. We do have some industry updates, but first, there was some big news. Epic news. There is JB Johnson, who lives in Atlanta, he does this every week. He works for our One Facility Services. I love this, by the way. I watch it every week. I can't post this every week. The last time we talked about it on this show, it looked like a steak to me, like a kind of overdone steak. But doesn't this look like an amulet?
I think it's incredible. Sure, it looks like an amulet.
This could be like, the national like the thing you need to keep national treasure or something. Like it's going to unlock something somewhere.
Absolutely,
maybe in Florida. If you had this in Florida, you might find the Fountain of Youth. This might unlock the Fountain of Youth.
Pretty sure this is why there are fires in Florida, is from mostly lint traps.
Well, I don't know where this lint trap is from, but it does look like it holds something beyond just.
You see, I want to know the breakdown. Here's data I want to know, Justin. I want to know the breakdown of the data on what do the lint traps look like? What's the material in the lint trap based on region?
That's
the farther north you go.
That's a project. I guarantee they're probably the data's there. It's just not organized. But after posting about this for weeks.
I feel like Anthropic could parse through this in like a split second.
There you go. Another use for AI.
All right, let's head over to the industry highlights here.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll take I'll take the first 3. I'll let you handle bullet point 4 here. So Agency 53 and Oculus Realty, they're both celebrating anniversaries. Agency 53 is turning 10 years old. They've been around for 10 years, while Oculus is celebrating their 16th anniversary. And they posted that this week. There's actually a lot of anniversaries in their industry. I believe Town Properties this year is celebrating 65 years. I think Asset Living is celebrating 40 years. I saw a post yesterday that Willowbridge started 61 years ago on yesterday's date, apparently. So happy anniversary to all these companies.
That's amazing. It's interesting. February. Yeah, I started one of my first companies in February. So it seems like a really good time. Maybe love is in the air, or maybe it's not in the air, and that's why people are starting businesses. Who knows?
Yeah. So EliseAI back in the news again. They're not fighting with anybody. They are just recognizing all the innovators in their sphere. With an Innovator club they just launched. And what this is, for those that are curious, is it's for operators. You can apply or nominate somebody, I believe. They want to bring operators who have been leaning into AI, been experimenting with AI, assuming the AI that EliseAI uses, probably not just anybody. I don't think they're going to pay for your ticket to New York, but maybe, I don't know. But perhaps if you're an EliseAI customer and you're an innovator in that space and you've helped with a product, you could apply to go and be in this Innovator club.
Yeah.
And there's like shows.
Pretty sure they want it to be EliseAI people, but yeah.
Right. I mean, that's what I would guess. It's not explicit in the language, but I'm sure it's there. So I just put that.
I'm going to go ahead and guess those people are going to get top marks, but
good guess. Good guess, Eric. But But yeah, they'll get to go to New York. They'll get to discuss some roundtables. They'll get to go to some great meals. They'll get to go to Broadway shows. Looks like it should be a pretty nice time.
That's awesome. The Olympics started as well this past week. Yeah. The Olympics kicked off, on the weekend?
It did.
Kicked off with a bang with curling. No.
It did. Is that
what was the first event?
I don't know. I watched some of the downhill skiing, but that was about it. Right before the Super Bowl. I don't know what the very first event.
The Super Bowl. Yes, that old thing.
Yeah. Some people talked about it, but I don't.
Couple people. I actually fell asleep.
Was there even a halftime show this year?
Yeah. I heard some twerking or bopping.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't catch that news, but I don't know. Maybe it was. We'll have to go back and look and figure out who it was. I don't know.
It'd be bad if you were to hop to a conclusion there.
Oh, that's so punny.
So speaking of out of this pun,
so to be like an Olympian, you may be going to all these industry events coming up. There's RetCon, there's EdCon, there's Apart Together, the Pennsylvania Apartment Association, there's Cultivate, there's Reba's Summit, and there's more stuff going on. So in February going into March, events are not slowing down. So that's that people keep posting about them. I'm interested to see, as people keep walking away from these events, how we move the conversation on, but beyond like, oh, you had to be there. This was such a great conversation. I had such great connection. I had all that stuff. But then that's sort of where it lies. Like it doesn't move anywhere beyond that. You don't necessarily see a partnership story come out and call out that very first meeting.
Not as good as our partnership story, but
ours, that was from an event.
Very much so our origin story. Now, to be fair, it was happenstance. We flew in the same flight, and ended up sharing a cabin to Philly. Yeah. But I mean, that's the beauty of these events.
Yeah, but I think to your point is, I think that it'd be nice if people were more specific about the stuff that happens when they niche down about like, oh, this one thing happened at this event. I think that actually ends up showing more value than trying to cover all the stuff that an event does for you, which it does do a lot of stuff, but it's hard to kind of communicate that, I believe. So I don't know. Interesting to see what people keep putting out post these events. But if you are going to an event and you have some news to share, you can DM us, you can tag us, and we can keep the conversation going as we update the industry through this show and other posts.
Awesome. And we kicked off our first deep dive conversation.
What's deep dive, Eric?
Deep dives, Justin, is something new for us. It's something that we just, thanks for the segue there.
You're welcome.
Deep dive is, we here at the Multifamily Weekend Update, we typically do quick takes, hot swipes, spicy bites.
Stop using adjectives.
we capture as much as we can and try to give you a quick overview of what happened in the past week. We decided to dive a little bit deeper, not only because our audience enjoys both versions of content, but ultimately we wanted to demonstrate a little bit more of what actually goes on beyond the surface. And it's hard to cover that on the news when you only have just 30 minutes every week. So we are going to be interviewing individuals from across the multifamily landscape and digging in deeper so that we can help understand what it is and how our multifamily industry works and why it works the way it does.
Yeah, and I think this is really where our kind of our core partnership with the Multifamily Media Network takes place, which is like we kind of produce these in concert with them. And so, to Eric's point, we have a lot of folks that say, "Hey, I want to be, I want to hop on your show. I want to talk about this issue. I want to talk about this innovation. I want to talk about all this." But we only have like 3 to 7 minutes at most, usually, to kind of do that if we want to cover a week's worth of stuff, from government to some fun stuff to some other heartfelt things that go through. So it's like, this is a great way for people to kind of say, "Oh, I want to spend 20-ish 30 minutes with you going through something about what I'm really passionate about or what I'm representing."
Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and make a post with a link to that. But David Guinn was our first guest on the deep dive.
Yes, he was about roofing, which is not. I never told him the story, but I did reshingle my grandfather's roof when I was like 13, 14. So I have experience, and I grew up in a metal housed roof, but I learned things about roofing from my house, for the houses I grew up in, just from that conversation. And obviously, he was talking at a max, scale for commercial multifamily housing, but some of it applied to things that that homeowners have to deal with too. So
yeah, I appreciated it, the way that he talked about roofing as a system.
Mm-hmm.
And there's multiple points in which a system can fail. So you need to make sure that you're taking care of the entire system. That makes sense to me as someone who does not know about roofing systems.
Right. Yeah. Very good. Yes. All right. Well, is there anything else? Any other news that you've seen? Any other things before we start closing out the show today?
I think the only news for me is that we finally had someone say no to being a guest on our show. We've been fortunate that
but they were polite about it, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, messaged me back and said, no thanks. I don't think this is.
It's me. You can tell me it's me. It's fine. Off camera, you can be like, "Justin, you gotta."
No, they did not drop any names. They didn't drop any names, but they just felt like it wasn't them. We try to have the gamut of folks on the show, and I guess I will say I'm happy that we got our first no, because I think it starts to define who we are as a show, and how we create content and who the content is consumed by.
Right. Well, you also learn a lot from a no, right, on the sales side of things. For like this, my analogy, which is sometimes it's also the when of it, right? Which is when you're these type of personas, or like what the format is. Like, maybe this is a deep dive person in the end, or maybe they just want to interact with us on a panel, or maybe it is me and they just, when I'm gone, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll talk with you, Eric." So that's fine. I'll own it. Not everyone's cup of tea, and that's a good thing to know.
Sure. Well, to be fair, it probably was someone who I'm not going to say they were in competition with your organization, but they very well likely competed with your organization. Not to say we're more than happy to bring anyone on. I mean, we don't care if they're competition, whatever. I mean, to me, that's the beauty of this industry is not only playing nice, but understanding there's plenty of pie for everyone to eat at the table.
Yeah. And I think that's the benefit of working for an organization that prides itself on being open and connected. They want to sit at these tables with competitors and partners alike. And so that does allow me, I'm grateful for the fact that I don't have to filter through, like, I can't talk to that person. So that's nice.
Yeah. Well, I would be remiss if I did not bring up my friend and former colleague, Gavin Dixon. I know that a lot of you have seen posts this past week about Gavin and his untimely passing. I spent a lot of time working with Gavin at AppWork. I had about 6 months of time with him. We joined right around the same time and became fast friends, not just coworkers, as it does tend to happen. Texting back and forth late nights, coming up with ideas. And I think that, when we lose someone in our industry, who, I consider at such a young age, it's, both tragic and also really eye opening for how incredible we are as a community to come together and rally, with someone and celebrate their life and share their stories and their memory. And, I think Gavin's own quote here really summed up a lot about how I feel he is and what I think he meant to a lot of people. And I'll read it here for you. The Stone Age didn't end because we played it safe with stones. It ended because we dared to imagine something better. So I appreciate the time that I was able to spend with Gavin, and he very much so will be missed. And our thoughts and prayers are with his family as they continue to mourn his passing.
Yeah. I think thanks for that, Eric. I also I wanted to just say your words online were very moving. I knew him, peripherally, but he seemed like a wonderful person. I know that this has happened in our industry on all sides of the fence, with people losing people in our industry that we know really well that have lost spouses, people that have, CEOs of companies that have had issues recently. And I think the thing that we have to remember is that while we are in the presence of our colleagues, our partners, our competitors, those are the moments that we need to keep lifting each other up, because like Gavin said, it's something better, right? Like, that's a better way of doing it. So appreciate you sharing those words.
Yeah. Well, as we unfortunately have to move onward in life, and I know Gavin would want us to do that and to celebrate his life, feel free to have a drink for him this week. I know he would appreciate it, as I enjoyed having a few with him when I was able to.
As you grow, I trust that you are finding many more ways to show and tell people that you love them. Those are the most important things that you'll ever learn to do. Because loving people and animals and the world we all live in is the most important part of being alive.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Have a great weekend, everyone. Hug your family, hug your friends.